If you could tell us your name, your business, and how long you've been here.
Yeah, my name's Richard Wheeler. I'm the manager of BNR Textiles in the Maltings, Salisbury, and I've been here for, would you believe, over 30 years.
30 years. And in that time, have you had a steady amount of
Yeah,
customers?
built up a very strong business and a good customer base. Yeah.
Were the only plans you had for the business that had to be changed or put on hold because of the incident?
Well, the thing is, when this first happened and we closed at the beginning of March, I had lots of orders to complete because we do fit curtains, blinds, etc. But luckily, I was allowed access from the rear of the property to make sure all that went ahead. But obviously, lost a new trade that I'd have had for the 3 months we were closed.
Was that difficult for you and your staff?
Very difficult, yeah, because there was really there was no indication as to how long it was all going to take. So, as I say, as we had access, we could see everything going on from the front of the shop, although the doors were locked. And many weeks went by when nothing happened at all. So it was the not knowing that was the worst thing of all.
And what can you tell us about the day of the incident for you?
I arrived as normal on the Monday morning. There was snow on the ground back in March. Parked my car at the service yard at the rear. Walked round to the front to be met with a police cordon at either end, or just a police tape and a police car at either end of our row of shops, and just inquired as to, would I be able to get into my shop a bit later. Went off for an hour, took the girls for a coffee, and then came back. Was told maybe come back the next day, but going home on that evening, I turned on the BBC News, and there was the front of my shop on the headline news, and that's the first I really knew of what was happening.
And in the coming weeks after that, how was the
Well,
information?
the rest of that week, I came in daily because nobody knew how long the whole place was going to be closed. So I came in daily. By then, there was a police cordon at the back and the front of the shop, plus a lot of the other cordons were in place. But after the first week, the police at the rear of the property said there's no reason why we couldn't have access. So we did manage to come in and get things done.
Do you feel like they were prepared for the incident?
No, because I think nothing like it had ever happened before. I think it was a lot of worry. They'd never dealt with any chemical poisoning before in Salisbury, and so I think a lot of it was they were extra cautious because obviously they had to make sure that they were doing the right thing.
Did the response change your attitude towards the local authorities?
The thing is, of course, being in business, you just want it to be open sooner rather than later and getting back to normal. So as the weeks turned into months, and you heard that we had visits from various politicians saying that they would make it as quick as they could and businesses would be back and running, and then to hear nothing for weeks after that was a little bit, like, we got a little bit despondent. But to be truthful with you, we had to come in and get on with it.
Do you feel people understood how challenging it was for you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the amount of people. In fact, because we had access to the rear of the premises, 3 or 4 weeks in, people were realising we were able to use that, and customers were coming in and supporting us and ordering from us.
Did you use social media to help with that?
We did. That's how they first knew. One of the girls here put it on social media. So once that got around, then we sort of crawled our way through it, really, but nowhere near as much as we should do. But it wasn't, a complete disaster.
The communication between you, the authorities, DERFA, that
Yeah, not great.
not great. How
No,
so?
and the various meetings that they held, of which I went to all of them. You heard what they wanted you to hear, and you could ask a question, and not many of the questions in my mind were answered. We wanted positivity. We wanted to know a date. Would it be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, so you could make some sort of a plan? And that's what I think was missing.
Were there crisis teams?
No, there weren't. There were, as I say, just these 3 or 4 meetings that we went to, and then they just let sort of snippets of information. But the main questions were what's being done now, what's being done next week, what's being done the week after, what can we aim towards. They weren't addressed at all.
In terms of the compensation and the
Yeah,
amount of money first given,
yeah.
what was your involvement with getting that?
Well, we did. We had all the necessary forms and that we needed, and put all of the claims in, and we did get a small payout, but not no way will it make up what we've lost. But now we're open again. We've just got to try and be busier than ever and try and make up some of that loss.
There was a beginning amount, about 1 million, given to
Yeah.
supposedly
Yeah, I
all
think
of the
I think that
Maltings.
had a lot of that had a lot to go through before it got down to our level, because it's not going to be free parking for nothing. So there are a lot of other little avenues that had to go down before it came down to the actual businesses that had suffered.
So, in terms of the way the money was spent on the original shops, do you think it was enough?
It wasn't enough, but glad to have had something. Glad to have had something out of it.
Local support from local authorities or politicians, was that helpful to you?
Not particularly. No, I mean obviously we were actually closed, although you could access from the rear. They did visit the shops around the other side of the maltings that were open, but I mean, nothing really. It was just to be seen that they were there, as far as I could make out. Nothing actually came from that.
Did you get to meet Theresa May?
No, because again, we were closed. And nobody obviously told her that she could access it from the back. Otherwise, we would have gladly. But no, she visited the shops that were open around the other side.
What would you have said to her?
I would have said, I would have asked her, I'd have said to her what's actually happening, what's in place to get this sorted and rectified at the earliest possible convenience.
Would you stay? Would you say you are stakeholders in the maltings and its future?
Yeah, I'd say we are, and we've got to build back up, which we're going a good way towards now, and yes, we are, and I'll speak out, and I'm positive that Salisbury will come back to how it was.
How do you feel about the recent proposals for the redevelopment of the maltings?
Well, I've been in this store since 2000, and there's been all sorts of proposals and things going to happen. So. I don't know whether it's the right thing or not, because we're very lucky to be busy, but I don't think the whole retail system is brilliant at the moment. So, all very well to build a hotel here, but why are the people, the people have to have something to come here for, apart from visiting the cathedral and Stonehenge?
Who do you blame who do you blame for the shops being closed for so long?
Well, it's the rent and the rates. And it seems to be that the rent will never be reduced. They'd rather have an empty shop. I could name certain shops that were here, and they would have stayed had they been able to have a shorter lease, or have a reduction in their rent. But no, the answer's always been no, so they go. And the unfortunate thing that as each retail unit goes, it's filled by either a coffee shop or a restaurant. So, like many cities, Salisbury will become somewhere you can eat and drink, but you can't shop.
Does it feel positive that you've had a couple of shops come to the malting since the incident?
Yes, I'm glad. I'm always glad. Nobody got to see an empty shop. And one of the shops that did closed before all of this happened. So people have come in to say to me, "Oh, well, they must have lost the business." But I said, "No, they were going." And I walked around. I know all of them. It's got us all together, really. This, and yeah, and to have that full again is really, really good.
So do you think going forward the maltings has a better community of traders?
Yes, oh, definitely. It's brought everybody together, really.
So that's the positive to take away from this whole
Yeah.
incident then, I guess.
Yeah, it is. Because we know them all, but you just say hello and pass the time of day. Now, because we were the only shop open, able to access, they were coming in daily, bringing us cakes and bringing us, things, asking how we were doing. It's been really, really good. And the local radio, which is just around the corner from us, Spire FM, they've had me on the quizzes, they've had me on interviews, they've had me on all sorts. So, I mean, people have been very, very supportive.
In terms of your centre manager, what happened there?
I think actually he was newish to it, but he did deal with it quite well, because it's easy to blame somebody, but he wasn't given any more information than we were. And he did, in his own way, fight for us. I mean, he's no longer a main centre manager here. He has a few centres to run. But I have to say that I think he did all that he could. And he was as angry and frustrated at each meeting, saying that the end was in sight, to be given a sort of approximate date, and then nothing happened. So I think he handled it quite well.
Has that hole been filled?
his
support?
position. Yeah, there is somebody now that looks after the centre on a daily basis, but they're just it's on now. It's just on the general running and the upkeep of the centre because now we're back to normal.
Do you mind going back just and because I wasn't in town at on the day it happened. Do you mind just telling us the first you heard of it when on the day that happened?
Oh, the first
So
when I
yeah.
arrived here on the Monday morning. Well, I had heard nothing on the news, so I arrived, parked my car, and I walked round to the front of the shop, which is where I always come in to be met with a tape across both ends, a big bubble over the bench, which I'm sure everybody has seen now, and just told that we wouldn't get access on that day, but to maybe come back tomorrow. Not in a million years thinking it was going to be 12 weeks later. But no, until I got home and saw it on the news, I didn't know exactly what had happened. But even then, seeing it on the news, you imagine it's going to be dealt with more quickly than in 3 months.
How did you feel about the fact that it went international?
Well, I suppose to have yourself exposed to the world in the way if you run a business is not a bad thing. And since we've been open, people come in and say, "Oh, we saw you. We saw your shop on the TV." They come from Swindon, places that maybe we wouldn't normally deal with. They've come in, ordered with me. So I think on that, we're lucky that we have that service that we provide as the fitting and the making. We don't just rely on the footfall. So people have come in and been really, really, really supportive. I can't, thank everybody enough.
What do you think about the footfall of the whole maltings development?
Well, some days it's very difficult because my family, my wife and my daughter work. We're all in retail. My daughter's in Bournemouth. She's quiet at the moment. So it's easy to say it's just Salisbury, but the whole retail environment, I mean, in Bournemouth in particular, Marks and Spencer's has gone, the House of Fraser's going to go. They say Debenhams is in trouble here and there. So it's easy to say, bad footfall, but I'm not being selfish, but we're doing quite nicely at the moment. So that's all I can think of.
How's it looking for Christmas?
Packed up. We can't make any. Well, I won't say we can't because somebody might still want some, but we're up to the sort of middle to end of December with the diary now, so I'm really pleased.
In terms of what Salisbury Council have put on for the town after the incident, in terms of events, what do you think about that?
Difficult. I really wish that something would be happening in the maltings. I wish even if we could have a few stalls or part of the Christmas market to bring people over here, and that motion was put forward, but I don't believe anything's going to happen. So everything's going to be centred on the centre, which in the whole scheme of things, as we've suffered so much, you'd think a little bit more would be done over this side of the city.
In terms of the free parking, has that actually helped in any way?
I only wish it went on till Christmas, and for them to bring the charges back in and increase them. I think there wasn't a lot of thought went into that at all. Customers complaining daily.
And how is your family and how do you feel about everything?
Well, I mean, in the middle of it all, it was quite bleak because at the end of it all, we need a job. We've all got bills to pay, and when they started talking about it may not be it may be Christmas before we open. Well, dread because we wouldn't have lasted till Christmas. So just glad that it was it was 3 long months, but we were glad to get to the end of it.
And in terms of your mental health during that time?
Oh, yeah, no sleep. No sleep. Because all you do, you go to sleep thinking about it. You get up and I came daily, and the girls came in daily. We got the orders done. We worked every day of that 12 weeks, only till about 2, 3. The police would let us in for part of the day, but you don't because your mind is just constantly full of it.
So what now? Do you want to relocate?
No. We love it here. I mean, we were in the market square, and the setting here is absolutely beautiful. And if nothing else, the removal of all the benches, they've manicured all the lawns, tidied the whole place up. It looked better than it ever had. And the opening day on that Saturday in June, I mean, it looked absolutely glorious out there. No, it's a good position.
Is there anything else you think that could be done to attract shoppers back to Salisbury?
Parking. That's the one and only word. If they just kept that free from midday until Christmas, would have helped no end. Now, as it is, they not only come in, it's free from 3 o'clock, so they have 2 hours to shop. if they want to come in for free parking. And the number of people that come in here complaining about it, it's ridiculous.
The council stated they'd given out at least $250,000 in rate reliefs to help the affected
Yeah,
businesses. How did
yeah,
that help
we
you?
were happy with that, very happy with that, and it was backdated from from when the incident started. We were very happy with that.
How was the application process?
Oh, that was fairly easy. In fact, we were just told. We were told, so they made that easy. In fact, the centre manager dealt with that. So we had emails from him to say that backdated from the 1st of March, so March, April, May, no rates, and June actually. Yeah, we were pleased with that.
And one real last question for me: do you feel safe here?
I felt safe from day one. Never worried one bit. And that's what I try and get into people that come in. People come in now all these months afterwards and say they were afraid to come to Salisbury. I do my utmost to reassure them that there never was any reason not to come. And everybody's asked me the same question. And from the day I learned what it was, I've never worried, and nor have any of my staff.
Do you think there'll be tourism, extra tourism?
Yeah, I don't mind that. More people, the more people, the better. So yeah, all nationalities have been in here. I've had them in here from New Zealand, from Australia, from America, from you name it. They've been in. They say, "Oh, we saw on our on our TV news." Good, it's good. And any publicity now, and as I say, whether that's why we're extra busy, people are just being kind and giving us extra support. But I'm grateful for all of it.
What can the Salisbury residents do to help you?
Salisbury residents have had enough of the Novichok word. They really want to just carry on as they are. And as I said before, it's always going to be in Salisbury's history, but that's where we want it kept. You can't carry on, Salisbury only being known for that. I mean, it's a beautiful city, so we just want people to come back and recognise that. Oh, they're all coming in now. It's about right, isn't it? The fan club. Is he doing it again? Oh, yeah. So many times I've had customers in here, they've been filming. I think, oh God. Do you know what? I was saying no to start with, and I thought, why am I saying no to them all? The BBC, the back door was open, so they were all coming in, and about 3 weeks in, I said, yeah, come in. So South Today did, BBC did a whole Inside Out programme on this shop.
No.
Which, yeah, he came in 6 times.
I haven't got anything in Chrome.
From when we closed. No, that was James. Oh, he's from BBC Bristol.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
So he put it on BBC West rather than South. But he sent me the DVD.
Lawrence, you're going to have to get